The movie opens with a being called the Other who is speaking. He speaks of the Tesseract being on Earth. Loki has made a deal to bring the Tesseract to the Other. In exchange, Loki will get to rule Earth. We go to a S.H.I.E.L.D. base in the middle of being evacuated. Nick Fury and Maria Hill arrive to deal with the situation. When they get there, Agent Coulson tells them the Tesseract just turned itself on and its energy levels will collapse the building. Eric Selvig tells Nick Fury he's not sure why it's acting the way it is. Clint Barton, who also works for S.H.I.E.L.D., makes a suggestion about what it could be. As they are discussing what is happening, a portal opens up and Loki appears. Loki attacks everyone. He uses his staff to mind control Clint Barton and Dr. Selvig. Loki takes out the rest of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, shoots Fury, and takes the Tesseract. They escape the facility. The S.H.I.E.L.D. base implodes, but everyone has evacuated. When Loki escapes, Fury calls in a level 7, which means it's time to activate the Avengers initiative. We jump to Black Widow, who is working a job. While doing so, Agent Coulson calls her and tells her the situation and that Barton has been compromised. She finishes her job and heads to India to recruit Bruce Banner. Natasha confronts Bruce. She is able to convince him that Fury needs him for his intelligence and not for the Hulk. Eventually, Bruce agrees to come in. Fury goes to meet with Steve Rogers. He tells Steve about the Tesseract, but Steve is already familiar with it because it's what the Red Skull was obsessed with. Steve tells Fury he should have left it in the ocean. But either way, Steve is ready for the fight. Steve agrees to come in. Agent Coulson goes to meet with Stark. Stark takes one look at the file and sees how serious the situation is. He also agrees to come in. Loki continues to recruit soldiers. He meets with and discusses his agreement with the Other. Loki appears fearful as the Other talks about an even more powerful being in charge, who we now know to be Thanos. Steve and the others arrive at the helicarrier. Banner gets to work looking for the cube, while the others search for Loki. They find him and go to his location. Captain America drops in on Loki and they battle it out. Iron Man also shows up to help. They capture and take Loki in all too easily. On their way back to S.H.I.E.L.D., Thor shows up and takes Loki from the Quinjet. He confronts Loki about faking his death and his behavior recently. But during their talk, Iron Man blasts in to fight with Thor. Stark wants to make sure Thor doesn't take Loki back to Asgard. Captain America steps in to remind Thor and Stark they are on the same team. They end up taking Loki back to the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. While everyone is on board, Thor tells them of Loki's plan. He tells them about how he seeks to rule Earth with the help of the Chitauri. Bruce continues to search for the cube while Loki is being held captive. Black Widow interrogates Loki while on board. She learns his plan was to be captured. He plans to release the Hulk on the helicarrier in order to dismantle the Avengers so that they cannot fight him when he does bring his army. As the group argues, clearly influenced by Loki's staff, Agent Barton and Loki's crew show up. They attack the helicarrier. The Hulk is unleashed and begins to tear apart the ship. Thor and Hulk fight it out, and eventually, Hulk is thrown off the ship. Iron Man and Cap work to fix the ship before it crashes. Black Widow fights Barton and is able to knock him out of his trance. Agent Coulson tries to stop Loki, but sadly, Loki kills him. Loki then escapes. When the helicarrier is fixed, everyone is shaken up. Thor was thrown off the ship, Clint is trying to recover from mind control, and Tony is upset about Coulson's death. The team regroups and locates Loki again. When they find out where he is, they go after him as a team. Iron Man shows up at Stark Tower where Loki plans to open the portal. He confronts Loki, but Loki tells him it's too late. The portal opens and the Chitauri invade the city. Iron Man attacks. The rest of the Avengers show up to help fight Loki and the Chitauri. Eventually, Bruce Banner also shows up to unleash the Hulk. The Avengers group up and hold off the Chitauri. While they are fighting, the government believes New York has been lost. They decide to launch a nuke into the city. Nick Fury warns the Avengers of the incoming nuke. Black Widow is able to get to the top of Stark Tower. She finds the scepter, which allows her to close the portal. As the nuke comes in, Iron Man intercepts the missile. He takes the nuke up into the portal. It was a direct hit. The Chitauri have been destroyed. Natasha closes the portal right as Iron Man falls back through. Hulk catches him before he hits the ground. Loki is captured and given to Thor to take back to Asgard. In the final scene, we see the Avengers going their separate ways. The public and the government ask the question, where are they now? And Nick Fury assures his colleagues that they will be there when they need him. The end.